Yeah, they did. They do that.
Okay, so the board was called meeting to order, pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. One call, please. Mr. Devlin. Here. Ms. Thomas. Here. Mr. Hardy. Here. Ms. McGuire. Mr. Thorne.
Here.
Ms. Bowe. We've got 4 out of 6 trustees in attendance. We have a quorum, we have a meeting. The first item of the business this evening is a request to attend remotely. We did receive a request originally from Mrs. McGuire, but that is mute at this point. So the next request was from trustee and village president-elect Courtney Bowe. So if we have a motion to so approve, Courtney attending remotely this evening.
So move. Second.
Moved by Thorne, seconded by Diatley to approve Courtney Bowe attendance by remote this evening. Any comments, questions, or discussion? There being none, since this is, well, okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Henceforth, though, this evening, all votes will be by roll call, with the one person being in remote. Okay, next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of April 7th, 2025. Do I have a motion to so approve?
So move.
Second.
Moved by Harney, seconded by Thomas. Are there any comments, questions, or corrections or additions to the minutes? There was one correction that was noted, that has been taken care of. That is correct. All right. Any other comments, questions, or discussion on the minutes? If not, roll call, please.
Mr. Dadley.
Aye.
Ms. Thomas.
Aye.
Mr. Hardy.
Aye.
Mr. Thorne.
Aye.
Ms. Bowe.
Yeah.
Okay, I saw a thumbs up.
All right. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Sign language this evening.
Could be worse.
Okay,
President Pickett, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to move item under item 11D1 up to the present time.
Second.
moved by Diatley, seconded by Thorne to amend the agenda and move item 11D1 to up to the present time. That is the approval to hire a new police officer.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Any further comments, questions, or discussion? There being none, roll call, please.
Mr. Thorne.
Aye.
Ms. Bowe. Thumbs up. Mr. Hardy.
Aye.
Mr. Dadley.
Aye.
Ms. Thomas.
Aye.
5 affirmative votes, no negative votes. The agenda is so amended.
I'd like to, at this time, make a motion that we offer employment to Eric Corona as a part-time police officer in the village of Sleepy Hollow at a starting rate of $27.30 an hour.
Second.
Moved by Diatley, seconded by Thorne to approve the hiring of Eric Corona as a part-time officer of the village of Sleepy Hollow at an hourly salary of $27.30. Any further comments, questions, or discussion? Chief, do you have any background you'd like to fill us in on?
Yes, I would. So Eric's 28 years old. He lives in Zion. He's a certified Illinois law enforcement officer. As a matter of fact, he went through the police academy with Officer Davis. He was previously employed by the Kenosha County Sheriff's Office as a corrections officer, and he is currently employed by the Round Lake Park Police Department. Based on his training, experience, recommendation from Officer Davis, I take those actually probably as important as most other things we do. I'd like to offer him employment as a part-time officer with our police department.
All right. Yeah. Any other comments or questions from the rest of the trustees? If not, roll call, please.
Ms. Thomas.
Aye.
Ms. Bowe.
Aye.
Mr. Thorne.
Aye.
Mr. Hardy.
Aye.
Mr. Dadley.
Aye.
5 affirmative votes, no negative votes. Mr. Corona, welcome.
This is, as I've mentioned many times before, this is the best part of the clerk's job, is swearing in a new officer. And I take great delight in that. So, Corona, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, state your name,
I, Eric Corona,
have been duly appointed to the position of patrol officer
have been duly appointed to the position of patrol officer
in the village of Sleepy Hollow, King County, Illinois.
in the village of Sleepy Hollow, Kane County, Illinois.
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the ordinances of the village of Sleepy Hollow,
and the ordinances of the village of Sleepy Hollow,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of patrol officer to the best of my ability.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of patrol officer to the best of my ability.
Welcome to the village.
Thank you.
Council.
Sergeant Dory will take out and.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Corona and family. Been quite a day, I understand. Okay, back to the original agenda as published, the president's report, first item of civility pledge, Mr. DeVerne. Please take the honor.
In the interest of civility, pledge to promote civility by listening, being respectful of others, acknowledging that we are all striving to support and improve our community, and understanding that we each may have different ideas for achieving that objective.
Thank you, sir. Okay, the president, most of my report, and I've got nothing this evening. I will hand it over to the clerk.
Mr. President, the only thing I have to add is that we've had a request by an individual to remove personal information from previously approved minutes of February 4th, 2019. It came in casually via a trustee who is not in attendance today. And I only bring that to the board's attention in that my reading of the protocol and the rules would require a motion before the board and approval by the board as well as discussion. Other than that, I'm withholding the name of that individual until the board is indicated that they do want to entertain this request. And I don't, after that, I have no idea what the procedure would be.
Well, the procedure would be to have a motion to amend the minutes on February 4th, 2019 to have the address of the individual stricken from the records, redacted for privacy reasons.
I will, what you just said.
Okay. As
Second.
moved by Thomas, seconded by Diatley to remove the address of a particular individual from the minutes of February 4th, 2019. Any further comments, questions, or discussion? There being none, roll call, please.
Ms. Bo,
Thumbs up.
Mr. Thorne,
Aye.
Mr. Harney,
Aye.
Ms. Thomas,
Aye.
Mr. Datley.
Aye.
5 affirmative votes, no negative votes, the motion so carries. Thank you all.
Other than that, I have nothing else to report.
All right, thank you. Planning and zoning, Mrs. Detmer attending via Zoom.
Yes, good evening. Last week we received a request
Good.
from the proponent for 1601 to withdraw the
Is
request.
it on our end or her end?
It's on our end.
Oh, sorry.
Can you
AV's
hear me
getting to
now?
it, it's ours.
Can you hear me now? Courtney can hear me. Can the board hear me? Hello,
And she should be able to talk.
Okay.
I'm talking. Can you hear me?
Well,
1601 withdrew their application for special use and zoning variations.
thumbs up.
Hopefully you could read my lips.
Yeah, apparently the audio got disconnected,
The audio's disconnected.
yeah, to these speakers.
Okay, I'm sorry. Audio is disconnected this evening on the speakers. I will fill in your report for you, Mrs. Detmer.
Thank you.
Planning and Zoning Commission met last Monday, April 14th. They had their hearing and they finished their public hearing and adjourned. However, in the meantime, the petitioner has withdrawn their petition for the variance of, the two variances and the special use. So there is no more conversation. Are you live now, Ms. Devon?
I'm still here.
Okay, we can hear you.
Sorry,
I just
to be so
informed them
loud.
Yeah, just inform them that the P and Z did meet. They had their public hearing, but the petition has been withdrawn, so that issue is now mute.
That is
However,
correct.
the trustees have all been provided with a draft of the minutes of that meeting for those who were not in attendance, so that they can see the finding of facts that would have been presented had the petition gone forward. So
That is correct. Thank you, sir, for giving that report. I appreciate it.
you're welcome. Do you have anything else to add this evening? No?
No, sir, I'll just be hanging around for the later item.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you, Mrs. Detmer.
Thank you.
The next item is the attorney's report. There's no report from the attorney. The next item is the engineer's report. You've got the pages in your packet. It says there's nothing to report for. We'll move on from that. Director of Finance, Mr. Van.
Request approval of the accounts payable. I didn't have a figure from me. In the amount of $132,619.57.
So move.
Moved by Thorne, seconded by Thomas to approve the accounts payable of April 21st, 2025, in the amount of $132,619.57. Any additions, deletions, comments, questions? No, none whatsoever. Nobody wants to know why Public Works bought dish soap?
Why did Public Works?
They must have had a party and didn't invite us. Okay, there being no additional comments or deletions to the warrants, roll call, please.
Mr. Dadley,
Aye.
Ms. Bo. I'm sorry, that still strikes me as humorous. Mr. Thorne.
Aye.
Mr. Hardy,
Aye.
Ms. Thomas.
Aye.
5 affirmative votes, no negative votes, motion so carried.
On the past several audits, and I've been here since 2021 and a thing about fund accounting is they have these things called inter-fund transfers, which are basically one fund loaning another fund money. Okay. And I've always had these big balances in it. And so this year I decided to see what that was all about. And prior to me getting here, there were a lot of inter-fund transfers where the general fund paid for items for the other funds and was never reimbursed for it. So what I did was I reimbursed all the account or the general fund for all the accounts that had for the money it had spent. The situation is it kind of hid the situation, the status of the sewer fund. And I ended up having a shortfall in the sewer fund of $108,000. Had we known this sooner, we would have, increased the rates sooner. But what I did do is that there is money set aside in the sewer fund for potential development. And it's my understanding that there is no future development for the sewer fund. So I transferred the $108,000 from that development fund into the sewer fund to then be able to pay back the general fund the money that it spent on its behalf. So as of today, all the interfund accounts are zeroed out, and so nobody owes anybody any money. The 5-year cap ended up having to give the general fund like $1.2 million So it just, we were talking astronomical amounts that just never got settled. I did go back, actually I went back to like 2000. And I looked at each of them and every year to make sure that those were all legitimate, expenses that, was causing that imbalance. The other item I have is the approval of the appropriation ordinance in the amount of $5,858,920. We had a hearing today. It was published on March 28th, so we're within the published requirements. This amount represents a 5% decrease from last year's appropriation. So I would need a motion for the approval of the ordinance.
So moved.
Moved by Thorne, seconded by Arnie to approve the appropriation ordinance number 2025-2. Any further comments, questions, concerns about the appropriation ordinance? There being none, roll call please.
Mr. Dattley,
Aye.
Mr. Thomas,
Aye.
Mr. Harney,
Aye.
Mr. Thorne,
Aye.
Ms. Bo.
Thumbs up. Okay, 5 affirmative votes, no negative votes, motion so carries.
That's all I got.
That's it. So the pockets are evened out now.
Pockets are all evened out,
That's
yes.
good. Move from the left hand to the right hand, right to the left. All right, thank you, Eugene. Okay, public comments. You've got Lindsay Combs.
Thank you. Yeah, Lindsay Combs here talking on behalf of the Sleepy Hollow Market that we've brought to your attention the last meeting or two. We recently met with the Service Club at their last meeting to ask for their assistance in providing insurance to cover the liability of the market at where it would be, which would hopefully be Sabatino Park would be our goal. And they voted yes on that to approve our use of their insurance. And so we are here giving you guys that information in hopes that we could move forward with the village's approval to start a Sleepy Hollow market down at Sabatino Park. Our goal is to have 3 markets this summer, just kind of test the waters and see how it goes for Sleepy Hollow. So, any questions?
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to the trustee reports. Roads and Parks, Mr. Harney.
Nothing new to report.
All right, thank you, Ed. Finance, Mr. Thorne.
No report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mark. Water and Sewer, Ms. Bo.
I do have one little thing. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, a resident contacted me and they needed to report that a bat was found on Arabian Parkway in Saddle Club. County Health and the DNR have been notified. The bat has been submitted for a rabies test. And the village will be notified of the test results and next steps if necessary. I just got this text prior to the meeting, so I don't have any more information than that. But other than that, all water and sewage is good.
All right, thank you. Mr. Thorne.
Thanks.
This was a rabid bat in the Bluffs?
Not rabid, just a bat.
Oh, just a bat, okay,
They're awaiting the test results.
okay. All right.
And not the Bluffs,
Thank you.
it was Arabian. So up in
Arabian
Saddle
Park,
Club.
okay, Saddle Club. All right. Okay, thank you, Courtney. Police and Public Safety, Mr. Diatley.
Yeah, we have some things going on. I'm actually gonna ask Chief Farmer to kind of walk us through this and he explains it much better than I do.
It would be easier if I didn't have to.
We need
So-
the chalkboard out?
I should get a big whiteboard. One of our part-time officers has taken a position, full-time with the Lake County Forest Preserve Police Department. He has expressed a desire to stay with us part-time. His position up there will be full-time. He wants to stay with us part-time. The problem is he is not allowed, like a lot of police departments, they don't allow you to work, a second job while you're on probation. So he has requested a leave, of absence while he completes his probation and then he wants to come back to us. I've not approved the leave in the past for situations like this because I didn't believe the person was going to come back and work with us. I fully believe that this officer will, he wants to come back. So I think it's in our best interest to approve the leave. Doesn't cost us anything to approve the leave. His training will be maintained through the full-time department he's with anyway. So when he comes back to us, all we'll have to do is some refresher training and he'll be an immediate asset to us again in the near future. So I'd like the board's endorsement to allow that leave to continue. Again, there's no cost to the village at all.
How many months?
It may take a year. It may be a 1 minute. Yeah, most departments are a year. It depends. They may grant it earlier. He'll start asking earlier, but it may be the full year.
So I'd like to make a motion that we extend the leave, the officer to come into us later and,
Yeah, I put May 1st as my target date, and that way it gives us plenty of time to get
Second.
it done.
Moved by Diatley, seconded by Thorne to authorize a leave of absence for a police officer not to exceed May 1st, 2026. Any further comments, questions, or discussion? There being none, roll call please.
Ms. Bo,
Thumbs up.
Mr. Harney.
Aye.
Ms. Thomas,
Aye.
Mr. Dattley,
aye.
Mr. Thorne.
Aye.
5 affirmative votes, no negative votes, the motion so carries.
That's all I have. Chief, you have anything else?
Yeah, I do, unfortunately. A couple more things, not unfortunately, just a couple other things. Last meeting, we swore in an officer full-time. That officer has now taken a full-time position with another department, but desires to stay with us part-time with no leave time. He just wants to work for us part-time and the other department full-time. So now I've got to convert his status with the training board from full-time to part-time. So I'm in the process of doing that. Again, no impact cost-wise to the village, other than we have now a full-time opening. As I did a couple of meetings ago, when we hired Officer Recchia, I had asked for permission to hire him part-time and then transition him to full-time in the near future, without having to come back to the board. That's the request I'm making for Officer Corona. Officer Corona is certified part-time. So there's a process that I have to go through to get him certified full-time. So I have to send him to additional training, which I have to have complete the application by May 16th. The problem is I leave the country from May 3rd to May 18th. So essentially I have to have the process complete with the paperwork all submitted by May 2nd before I leave my office that day. So I'm looking for advance permission to kind of get this stuff in process before I leave, to make sure that we're in a good position to get all that done, because I'm the only one that can sign all that paperwork. So I tried to summarize that in the memo that I sent. I was told that I did an okay job with that, but I wanted to make sure I filled in all the gray areas just in case anybody had any questions.
So I'd like to make a motion that we allow Chief to move forward with the proper paperwork to move Officer Corona from part-time to full-time employment, to get all those checks and balances in.
Second.
Moved by Diatley, seconded by Thomas to approve Chief Parma's
Idea.
yeah. Plan to cover the loss of one full-timer by taking another part-timer and bringing them on to full-time in the future. Not to exceed May 18th.
And he will be brought in at our starting full-time patrolman's pay rate. So
I have a question. Is that for Recchia or for?
This is for Corona.
that is for Corona. I use Recchia as an example of how I got to Corona.
Okay. I just want-
Yeah.
Game plans, you gotta remember.
Yeah,
So
it's
next
in
time he comes in and says Recchia, you'll know
No.
what we're doing. Okay, no further comments or questions on that? Roll call, please.
Mr. Dattley,
Aye.
Ms. Thomas,
Aye.
Mr. Harney,
Aye.
Mr. Thorne,
Aye.
Ms. Bo.
Thumbs up.
Quick question for the chief while we're talking, please. This is a revolving door. What is the pay differential, just roundabout, Why did we lose so many officers?
From what I was told by the officer that we sworn in last week, it was about $25,000 different. There's a variety of things, but yeah, that was, now the officer that is going from us part-time to full-time in Lake County. Our salary actually is similar. It's only a couple $1,000s difference. It's not a big difference. The difference is it's 5 minutes from his house and it's, they don't work overnights. So that's, that I can't fix in police work. Unfortunately, municipal policing, we work overnights. That's just what we do, so.
I'd like to just say to that, even though we have had a few turnovers here lately, this has slowed dramatically from where it was when I came on the board 6 years ago. We were basically every meeting, it was, we lost another officer for this, and this. So to Chief's credit, he's done a great job of finding the proper people that fit, that works here, and it has slowed dramatically from what it was. We're still looking at ways to come up with ideas of how to change that even more. Working hard on that.
Thank you.
Way to go, chief. Okay. That's it for the police and public safety.
That is it for me.
All
That's
right.
it for me, yes.
Okay, thank you,
Thank
Chief.
you.
Thank you, Steve. Public buildings and environment, Ms. McGuire, no report this evening.
Was there a motion that was made?
Yeah.
And we have to vote?
We did.
We did? You sure?
Yeah.
My apologies to the audience. Next.
Okay, do I have back public building environment? No report from Mrs. McGuire. Moves us to building and zoning, Mrs. Thomas.
The last meeting, I asked to postpone the discussion for ICCI's fee schedule. And I'm asking again to move it to the 19th, since the new board is being sworn in on the 5th. And I'm suggesting this just so we can get the new board on board. And we have a chance to look at everything. I've been doing some investigating and stuff, and I just have some questions, but I want to get all my ducks in a row before I do anything on the fee.
Motion to postpone until the second agenda of May 5th.
The 19th, so we get
Oh, the
sworn in. on the
19th of
5th.
May?
Yeah, we get sworn in on the
Okay,
5th,
okay.
and then
All right.
we,
Why don't we just withdraw it?
well, I don't want to withdraw it, Barb, but that's
No,
not.
It's okay. We'll just leave it as is. It's not a problem.
Well, that's up to you all, then, because I just.
Motion.
Okay. We will just move on then. Okay. Anything
Does
else?
that affect the contract with ICCI or anything like that?
Not at all.
Okay,
No?
all right.
No, it just, we'll leave the fees as they are and we'll make do with it. Thank you.
All right. That it, Kelly?
That's it.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. Moves us to old business. Farmers market proposal, continued discussion. Mr. Hardy? Roads and Parks.
Can we vote on that tonight so they can move forward?
If everybody's happy with the.
Yeah.
I'll make that motion. If somebody will second it and then for discussion.
Second.
Mhm. Okay, to authorize a farmer's market in Sabatino Park for the Village of Sleepy Hollow. Motion by Harney, second by Thomas. Any further comments, questions, or discussion? Floor is open.
I have a question real quick. I know that Christine was gonna either get with you or you were gonna let her know where those documents that you mentioned that they.
Yeah, I was never contacted. So.
Okay. Can you tell?
I've got a copy of them. If somebody so wants, someone can tell me where to send them. I mean, I've got both copies. Send them to you. Okay.
Okay, perfect. I just wanna make sure that they're covered with
Right.
what they need so that there's no
Yeah.
issues.
Do you need anything else from the board?
I don't think so. As soon as we get approval, we'll put together a whole document, that's expected for vendors to fill out and things like that, so.
Chief, are we okay with,
Yes, I mean, the issue with these types of events is I don't know if I'm okay until I don't know I'm okay. You know,
Okay.
the first time we'll work with it and then we'll pivot, like I'm obviously become pretty good at pivoting, so. We'll work with it, it's not a problem. I think the biggest thing is making sure that the parking is where we need to be and that everybody's safe, so we'll take care of it.
So you got the insurance part done. Are there any other big pieces that need to be resolved before you can move forward?
Not really. I think really we just need to really put everything down in writing, about parking, exactly where it's gonna be, start marketing to vendors and having vendors sign up, making sure those vendors all have their own liability insurance and things of that nature. So, really just logistical paperwork.
Are they gonna be set up not under the pavilion, but someplace else, or will you be setting up under the pavilion?
I think we would be setting up around the pavilion.
Around the,
Yeah,
okay,
like a 4th of July kind of
Okay.
scenario outside of the pavilion, yeah.
okay.
No, I think it's a great idea.
I do too.
I like it. I appreciate the time and effort we put into it.
And so 3 events for the first year, and then assuming that goes well, there'll be more next year or?
And I think we'll be able to work out the kinks, learn what we need to do for next year to make it better and more successful. This is really kind of a testing opportunity for us and see what works, see what doesn't, and then make it better in the next year, maybe do more possible. Yeah,
Okay, thanks.
yeah, great, yeah.
no further comments, questions, discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Bo,
Thumbs up.
Mr. Thorne,
Aye.
Mr. Harney,
Aye.
Ms. Thomas,
Hi,
Mr. Datsun.
Aye.
5 affirmative votes, no negative votes, motion so carries. Thank you all.
Thank you.
No other old business will come before the board, move to new business. New business to come before the board,
I move we adjourn.
Second.
roll call, please.
Mr. Dattley,
Aye.
Ms. Thomas,
hi.
Mr. Harney, Mr. Thorne,
Aye.
Ms. Bo.
She waves by.
Yeah.
All right, thank you all, we are adjourned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tuesday.